G'day guys, it's been a bit of a minute since my last video, but I no longer have the CB125E. I've recently picked up this fresh MT-03, so I must say it's a lot more enjoyable to ride than my last bike. But yeah, today we're going to do a little bit of specs on the bike. I'll tell you my first impressions and I'll show you a bit of riding on it, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so this bike has the matte grey and gloss blue sort of colour scheming. Looks pretty well, I guess, integrated. I'll give you a quick walk around of it. So that's it. It's got pretty much the exact same back end of an R3. It's just obviously missing the fairings at the front. But yeah, what I really like is these new headlights. Some people hate them, but I think it's different and it stands out. The ugly thing is though, it's got a horn right in the middle, so I think I might hide that somewhere else when I have the time. But yeah, it's got the 2-piston front brakes with ABS, and then same on the back. I think it might be a single piston, but do not quote me. It's also got ABS on the back, which I have tested just for the, I guess, shits and gigs. The indicators are actually pretty nice and streamlined. I'll show you the dash display as well. So yeah, shows you the time, your gear, your RPM, your speed, and then you can pretty much just set it like through different trips, your average fuel, odo, all that sort of stuff. So I've just hit the 300k mark on this bike. Obviously you got your pass switch, then just constant high beam, left, right indicators, horn, and then a fancy thing that the CB125 didn't have is your hazards. So that's that, which I think is a pretty cool feature to have on this bike. Not that Yamahas are known for breaking down, because they're definitely not. But yeah, in terms of tires, on the front and rear, it's running a set of Dunlop Sport Maxes, I'm pretty sure they're called, on the 17-inch rims. I'm not too sure about going up in wheel sizing on these. I think you can go up about an inch, but I'm not too sure many people would bother doing that because it seems pretty well set up the way it is now. Obviously everything's still stock. I'm going to do a tail tidy, so I have that ordered. And now the exhaust, it sounds a million times better than the last bike, but I think either a slip-on or another just different system on it would add a bit more personality to it, as it's got this huge catalytic converter down under there. But yeah, in terms of other things to tell you about, its forks on this model are actually upside down. So if you go 2019 and lower, I guess the shocks or forks, whatever you want to call them, are actually inverted the other way around, the way you'd see on any other bike. So these are classified as upside down. It gives better, I guess, loading, and it keeps a bit more of the weight further back on the bike. So yeah, compared to my last bike, this bike felt a million times quicker, but after a few days riding, quickly realized it is only a 320cc bike. So it's no rocket ship at all, but first and second gear is quite talky and fun, and you can, I guess, ring it out to the speed limit and not be doing any excessively stupid speeds like you would be on a higher displacement bike, which is the good thing about it. However, it does leave you wanting more when you're in a higher gear, and it's just a little bit lacking. But yeah, so for me, this bike's still in its break-in period. So I'm meant to be keeping, before its first 1,000 Ks, I keep the revs below 5 or 6,000. Then it goes to 2,000 Ks. I'll keep the revs below 7 or 6,000. Then 3,000 Ks, I keep it below 8,000 or whatever. Don't quote me on that. And then eventually it's unrestricted and you can rev its guts out. But yeah, don't quote me. I guess the rev to break-in ratio is pretty similar to what I just said. So I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, so I'm about to jump on and go for a ride, but this is it idle. So it sounds pretty tame at the moment. So yeah, one thing I did forget to mention on that bike is it has this weird throttle sensor. So when the throttle is down or like partially engaged, it will cut out, just because that's the way Yamaha goes along with their fuel emissions standards. So it can be quite on and off at low speed. So either you have throttle or you don't have throttle. And if you're going from a roll onto throttle at a very low speed, because of how torquey it is, it can kind of like bounce you back. But yeah, other than that, you don't notice it too much, or unless you're sort of going down a hill and it has a heap of engine braking and you need to sort of keep the same speed you're going without slowing down. If you put the throttle on, it's going to accelerate you. It won't just hold you at the same speed. So that's a bit of a tricky thing with this, I guess, throttle sensor. And I'm pretty sure I've heard of other people like higher class bikes, so 07s and 09s, they have those, but with like an ECU tune